are, the Frick collection in New York.
That's right, and
9 o'clock in the morning.
precisely 9 o'clock in the morning, we're doing another one of our marathons.
1 hour with Vermeer's Officer and a Lady. We'll see if we can last an hour here. It's one of the world's official masterpieces, right?
One of Vermeer's 34 known pictures, or at least the ones that are attributed to him.
I have my doubts about whether I like this damn thing.
Okay, well, you probably are the only person on the planet. I'm sure you've got some line about it having been copied from a photograph or something.
Close.
Yeah, well, there you go. Go on, we'll spin it out.
Should we actually look at the thing before
I think that's a good idea. It's like a Jerry Seinfeld show. It's about nothing. It's an officer and a lady hanging out.
I think it is important to say right at the outset that Vermeer was a very minor artist in his own day.
There's a famous list of artists like that also include El Greco, frankly. Right, people who were essentially sort of picked up in the 19th century, or even sort of
although
early
El
20th
Greco
century.
was a major force in his own day, and then he gets forgotten. The difference, the big important difference is Vermeer was not
so much
a major force. We think we know better than 17th century Dutchmen what they should have been looking at, and that's weird. That's profoundly weird, because we pretend that we want to revisit the past when looking at a picture like this, but we actually don't care what they thought. We wanted to have this serve our ends, and that's one reason I'm resistant to Vermeer.
You're looking for weirdness, and you're not going to find it in Vermeer. That's also a 21st century sort of outlook, frankly.
No.
I mean, we're all trapped in these, obviously in our own heads, but in our own time. We're time-bound, and in our collective sense of appreciation.
He gets to be popular, guess what? At exactly the moment that photography takes off. The coincidence of photography being discovered, being adored, and these pictures being discovered makes me think that there's a connection, that it's a photographic eye is what we're looking for.
It's a collusion. You're going for the antitrust argument here.
That's right. There's some kind of collusion and it's forcing it down our throats.
Apple and Google have gotten together and basically made Vermeer
said that we have to fucking like Vermeer, right? And it's Kodak, actually. It's Kodak that makes us love Vermeer. And Kodak and Daguerre.
And the Lumiere brothers.
Yeah. I imagine that for an audience at that time, they had a totally physically different way of looking at pictures. I think Dutch people were much more interested in inventories. I think these things function like accumulations of separate instances, that we're supposed to notice the beautiful glass window. We're supposed to look at one thing after another.
In that case, Vermeer is the typical, well, not the typical artist, the atypical artist who is significantly ahead of his time. Because the work basically hangs. It works as a hanging picture rather than as a scroll or a map that you're looking at.
That's it. So you're saying he's pressing back against that tendency.
And making 3 pictures as opposed to a year of non-ostentatious subjects, as opposed to a number of other artists.
So he doesn't generate inventory.
He doesn't generate inventory.
In a world of inventory,
Precisely.
He doesn't generate any.
He's tacking against the grain.
Nice. That's nice. So in that case, you could say the map shows you the normal looking. It's flat, it's scanned one thing after another, and it's in opposition to what's happening in his picture. Because it is very different.
Very good. I'm gonna pretend I said that. It's a guy and a girl picture. It's that great tension that's happening between them. And guess what? That's where the light hits. That's that great triangle. If you want to go sort of Freudian on me, that's a great vaginal triangle of tension.
Everyone's going to say, yeah, Blake is just doing his usual thing, right? If everyone says X, he's going to say Y.
Well, I'm all for being against received wisdom. That's something that I think is important, whether you're reading a book or you're looking at a picture or talking about politics.
I think being contrary is good, especially with art, because it brings us somewhere new. I do worry that with Vermeer, we're going for what's easiest for us, and I don't think that's ever good with art.
But one thing you can't really do is basically sort of condemn a picture because you don't like the promoters or the friends. It's important to basically sort of come and experience the picture for yourself. You don't want to just echo other people's opinions. You want to find other things that you basically sort of draw out by yourself.
And that's why spending an hour helps us get beyond that. That's why it's worth spending an hour. Because if you just spend 5 minutes with a picture, you're stuck with cliches. Inevitably stuck with cliches, because in 5 minutes you can't go beyond them. That's why what we're doing today, I think, really matters.